I think it's officially batshit crazy. Diamond, maybe?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Love it.
it's
it
batshit
is.
crazy.
It is.
What do we how do we even start this episode? I don't even know what to say. We're recording this on a Saturday. It's been 2 days after the big Thursday reveal that I'm sure all of you guys have heard by now. If not, we'll talk about it. We have a special guest coming on. We have Brenswa. This was planned weeks ago, and it just so happened that Brenswa is coming on this week, and he was also the moderator a few days ago for that
Mhm.
live debate that we had on our live stream. So we have a lot to talk about, but I want to start with just how are you, maybe Netta? How are you feeling?
This is crazy. This is crazy. I think I didn't realize it completely yet. It's still so weird, but I don't know. I'm so happy. I don't know what to say. Like, it was really a magic moment, and it's like being recognized for all the time that we put in this project, and the fact that we are so passionate about it. So, it was like kind of a necessity, I think, for them to pick as captains people that are really, really involved and really have passion, to also create that kind of reaction. Because only if you care so much, you react the way we reacted
Yeah.
during that live. So amazing. Like, I'm really, really grateful and so happy about it.
Yeah. I've heard some people ask on some spaces, and I want to address it out in the open. They're
Mm.
like, "Did you guys know? Did you guys know that was coming? Was that, we're on live stream? Were we acting?" And no,
Yeah.
genuinely, the only advance warning that we got was just a innocuous message. It was an innocuous message that said, "Try to stay on live stream as long as possible." And you guys know that we do live stream up until 7, and then at 7:10 KTFM starts with Modest and A-Bomb, and so we don't want to overlap with them, and so we always hand off at 7. But got that message, and so we're like, okay, I feel like we should stay on and just get A-Bomb and Modest on our live stream because I have no idea what's going to happen in a few hours. We thought it was going to be something big, but did we think that it was going to be our faces as saboteur art, and
Never.
we have our own missions, and now we're campaigning for votes? I did not think that this was going to be my weekend. I'm super excited by it, and there's a lot of stuff that all three of us are working on, and we're excited to announce our songs. And so by the time you listen, the voting will have already started. The songs are already going to be announced, but we know them internally. You guys are going to know them very soon. Diamond, it was great because not only did we have the live reaction of me and Maybe, you came a little bit later, and so it was like a double dip where the crowd got our live reaction, and then the crowd plus us got your live reaction. So you showing up later just added to the moment. So how are you? How are you feeling? How's it
I,
going?
I wanted to start with a proper head, because it's been fucking wild, y'all. Proper, let's fucking go microphone tap there. All
Nice.
right. It's been absolutely insane. No, like Atari said, I was working. And so, like, I got off work and, like, I'm on the bus and I get a text from Atari, like, saying, hop on stream. Like, whenever you get the chance, like, don't check your socials, just hop on stream. And, like, I hadn't checked my socials anyways. I was working on some stuff with my data entry. And next thing you know, like, I get that message and I'm like, and I tell them in our chat, I'm like, y'all are making me nervous. What the fuck is going on? And they're like, whatever you do, just don't sign into your socials. And I was like, okay, cool. All right. And, like, I was like, so, like, I came in, like, wondering what the hell. And Netta did say, don't worry, it's good. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, good, because this could be not good, right? Like, did I get kicked off the fucking damn show or something? What's going on, y'all? Next thing I know, I jump in the chat and, people start asking questions. So, Diamond, have you seen it yet? Have you seen it? And I'm like, have I seen what? What the fuck is happening, y'all? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't know what was going on. I mean, so we got the Stand With Wagme song from People. People's been so active on his Twitter lately, GMing all over everybody. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, right, like Atari mentioned last week, that activity doesn't come with, like, we're kind of feeling the buzz, right, of things. And people mentioned 10KTF getting batshit crazy back in January, right? And we're all like, oh, fuck. Like, seeing his art, like, seeing how provocative and how, like, conscious he is, I want to know what that motherfucker's batshit looks like. I bet it's wild. That's always been my inner steez. So to get that rolled out and then jump in the chat, see Saboteur created custom art for us. Like this team paying attention to the community along the journey. I mean, I think it was Stump that put out a message like, that no other team is paying, or 10KTF said they're paying attention to their community. Bam, here's them proving it, and like, wow, like what that means for the NFT space. Somebody else sent out a tweet. Like my fucking socials have been going insane. That's a whole nother thing.
Dude, same. Oh my God. It's crazy.
And someone put out this tweet that said like, what was it? I don't even remember anymore. Fuck y'all. I'm just,
I feel like I know what you're gonna say. Is the tweet you're referring to the one that said this has never been done before?
that's the fucking one. Yes, that's exactly the one. And
Yeah.
and I think that resonates. I mean, I might be a little biased in that, but I want to know what y'all think about that, right? Like how incredible. I don't think it's been done as far as actually entering in the project lore to 3 team members, right? That like go in now to the project and are able to be voted on by the community itself. Like, let's just speak not to like the confidence that the community, that the team's giving us, but the confidence the team's giving the community by doing that, right? To always have a voice. They're going to choose a champion, right? Like, I love y'all, right? But it's about to go down in the next fucking couple days,
Yeah.
right? Which is huge responsibility to hand out to a community that's based in obviously a bunch of honor and operates with a large amount of ethics, right? In what is considered a digital space. For what it's worth, we all show up genuinely, right? And so shout out to the community, shout out to the team, and shout out to everyone who's out there putting in content, putting in work to create content for the greater good. When the sea level rises, all boats rise with it too, y'all. So let's keep pumping in that water,
So to go back to that, maybe what Diamond asked earlier about the tweet, this has never been done before in the NFT space with an NFT project. Do you resonate with that? Do you feel like that's overplaying it, or how do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely, has never done before. Like no NFT project did anything like this before. This
And
is
we're the first
crazy.
3.
Yeah, like I don't know what to say. It's crazy. It's like, yeah, like they do, all the communities do contests, all of the communities, they put artist content, whatever content the community creates. Yes, obviously I've seen all that happening, but this is on another level, like using their own resources to depict us, to draw us, to create a story behind each one of us. It's incredible. It's not just shouting out, oh, this community member did this, okay, let's retweet, let's put it in front of the community. No, this is actually using your resources to create content over those 3 people, over those 3 community members. So that's on a completely other level.
And to add to that, I think it's also an opportunity as well, right? So we always knew that the community was going to be woven into the project at some point. We didn't know when, but we knew like it was coming, right? And it's now happened. And yeah, I mean, for me, I said it on a space a couple days ago on Thursday night, where about a week ago was my 1 year going full time into Web3. And for me to kind of, it's like a year ago, I started my Twitter and started joining projects, found 10KTF shortly after I went full time in Web3. And if a year from now, back then, if you'd told me this, I wouldn't even understand like what it would mean, because it wouldn't even make sense to me what it means to be like a community leader in this sense, or a team captain in this sense. It just wouldn't even register with me. So I would be like, oh, that's cool, but okay, so what? But I think now, when you understand like what it means and what it represents, and like maybe said, no other project for over a year plus has done anything like this. The community is the hero of the story. I wrote that in one of my threads, and we're seeing that come through again and again and again and again. And I think that is so fascinating and humbling to be a part of that. And I'm confident that there's going to be more community members woven into the story as it goes on, because this is a wild, expansive story.
If I can add one thing, this is what I've been thinking the last 2 days, because it's like 10KTF started all of this project based on storyline that it's able to keep engaged the community every week, because it's the storyline that keeps people asking what's going to happen, what's going to happen, what's going to happen, right? So what happened is that other projects, many projects, saw this happening in 10KTF, and they were like, oh, this is very interesting. The community is engaged because there is a story behind,
Mm,
and let's do it too. So you started to see so many other projects doing that, creating stories, etc. And it just feels like 10KTF was like, now we're gonna raise the bar even higher. We
yeah,
did this, you do this, now we do this. And now what are these other projects gonna do? Are
And
they
I
gonna
couldn't
follow 10KTF? What's
yep,
gonna happen now?
yep.
This is so interesting.
I couldn't be more proud of our community in the way that we've been doing it, y'all. Like Wisdom in the chat in the early days, Netta, Tails, right? Robo, like let's go through the historical archive. Let's not forget the people that put in the work when no one was paying attention to 10KTF, right?
Yeah,
We'll
Yeah.
never forget them. And that's important, especially as we're all getting this moment to be highlighted, so important, y'all. We'll
yeah,
never fucking forget, right?
yeah.
Like those hours that put in, that's all valuable capital. When people had no idea what was going on with this project, we had people taking shifts in general just to explain the project for all the
Shout out to
questions
Maybe.
that
You were doing
people
a lot of that. I
Shout out
remember that.
to Robo,
Bravo.
OCD.
take.
Yeah, so many,
So,
so many in
so
general.
learning, it really does take a village, y'all. And I hope, like, I think that's why I said, I was so excited about seeing my face in the lore. Like, y'all know I've been asking to see that mullet in there for a little while now, right? And so, like, to see that was absolutely mind blowing. But the larger piece of that is like, holy shit, like we're all going to get our chance. It just kind of reaffirms that for me, letting us know, and especially seeing the way that, like, shout out probably Tails and Ranga, knowing that like Ranga is powered by We Knew, knowing all the work that Tails put in before she went off to go work with Ranga and Dirty Robot Works to create that wonderful project, and still have the support of the team wherever she goes, right? But that being said, seeing that piece too, that's one more level where I'm like, this team fucking gets it at a level that probably, like, no offense to any other teams, right? But like this team's working to really keep on supporting. And so stay ready, stay hungry, and keep working, y'all. Good
Yeah.
things are headed our way soon. Batshit, I'm telling you, like when we saw our fucking pictures in the lore, for me, Batshit is on right now. We are in full
Yeah.
Batshit mode.
It's a guy whose Siri followed me the other just today this morning, and I'm like that's
Whoa.
I'm like that's crazy. Like what is this? I don't even know what it means, but I'm like okay, interesting.
Guy, I don't want to
Cool.
follow for me. I love you, Guy, but give Netta a follow. What's up, Guy? Get Netta
I
Yeah,
on
think
here.
yeah, me
Let's
too.
go.
I've been waiting forever.
I think all of our times are definitely coming. Maybe I wanted to just quickly jump back, and then we're gonna introduce our very special guest, Brenswa, in just a moment. So maybe what you said is so deeply spot on for the trend of NFT projects in general. Because in September, a project was like, "We're doing a coin," and everybody's like, "A coin? Coin? We're gonna do a coin," and they're like, "We're gonna do." Merch, we're gonna do merch, and then they're gonna be like, we're gonna do a game, we're gonna do a game, and it's like this mimetic game that they're all playing where 10KTF has always been one track, one mind. The only thing that I thought that they did was kind of mimetic was in January when they announced the token. And frankly, when they announced that, I was concerned because I'm like, okay, we've seen what happens even in January. We knew what happened to projects that launched the token. They would pump and then dump and then it would be done. The community would be a mess. And so I was concerned, but like the We Knew team really thinks through and they have partners in place. And so when the bear market hit, the only community that was so deeply engaged, I can probably say is 10KTF. We were the only ones that were each week we're like bear market. I don't know what that means. I'm here to help Wagmi-san. You're concerned about the bear market. I'm concerned about Wagmi-san and helping him craft and go on his missions. And that rewarded us with the ApeCoin drop. And now, and then teams paid attention to that. They're like, oh, storytelling. Okay, we need story. And so everybody is now ad hoc trying to take this block of story and like smash it into their project. It's like story. And I think while that's great, there's a difference between that and a project that starts with story as its backbone, as a founding principle. And to now have community members in the project that people want to rally behind as well. And almost like with Battletown, that's kind of what the mechanic is, right? It's rallying behind one of the three captains. I just don't know how any other project sees that and they're like, we're going to do that too in a way that isn't going to be like, oh, so like 10KTF. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's very, yeah, like it's so interesting, and what a time. What a time to be
Mhm.
alive.
Like,
Batshit crazy.
when everyone else is stressed about the bear market, we're over here talking about it's fucking Thursday. Let's
Yeah, pump
go.
it
And
up.
we're
It's a huge
campaigning.
moment, you know?
Yeah, we're getting our campaigns ready. We're politicians, pseudo politicians
Oh
right
my
now,
God,
and
I've never experienced anything like this in my life. I understood that
never.
I hate it. First, I will never do it ever again in my life. This is what I understood. One, and yeah, definitely an interesting thing, something new.
Like,
Wasn't even on social media a year ago, y'all. This is fucking blowing my lid off for real.
yeah,
I gotta be honest with you.
Yeah, that's true. That's
it's
true. Oh my
honestly,
God,
it's a lot of like,
true.
it's a lot, and what like the blessings are great, and then you also have to be like ready to receive those blessings and like be able to like handle it, because there's a lot of emotions that comes with this. And like during the live debate, I thought, I mean, kudos to the both of you, to all of us, for the live debate that we had that happened Thursday night, impromptu. We knew team members in the chat, and they were like, debate, debate, debate. And Diamond, you came ready today. You promised me to get my suit, and somebody that was able to come up and moderate the debate was Brenswa. And so we have Brenswa today as a guest, and I'm gonna let him in.
Yeah, we had a piece of Modest, and then Modest got rocked,
Yeah.
and we got
And
Brenswa.
so welcome, Brenswa. Brenswa, for those of you who don't know, he's big in the moonbirds community. Brenswa, you are an IP lawyer. You have also been on The Amazing Race, and you jumped into 10KTF, and you went deep from what I
I
saw,
did.
and you're very involved in the community, and we love having you. And thank you for moderating the debate, for stepping in when Modest had to jump off for that minute. So how's it going? How's your day going?
Day's going great. Thanks for having me, guys. I'm super excited to be here. I guess I just kind of got lucky. I know we scheduled this a little while ago, but what a week to be on the show and be here with all of you guys. Was stoked to jump in and just on the fly moderate that impromptu debate that you guys were doing. I thought all you guys did amazing. Y'all had to think on your feet. I mean, normally when you do a debate, you have a little prep, and at least you've got maybe some answers ready to go. But you guys didn't, and that was awesome. So super happy to be here today.
Yeah, I mean, just to speak to that, the debate started at maybe, let's say, 8:30. An hour and a half before, we had no idea on the live stream that we were going to be in this, let alone having to get ready for a debate. So if you asked me in the morning, if somebody told me, oh, by the way, you're going to be wearing a suit and you're going to be debating people on your computer, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. That's definitely not me. You got to confuse. I have a live stream, and then that's going to end, and I'm going to do my other stuff. But yeah, crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I'm sure some people are wondering what's going on in my background.
Yes, please.
So this was my pandemic office. I work I'm a desk jockey because, like you mentioned, I'm a lawyer. And my big hobby before I got into NFTs is actually Star Wars collecting.
Ooh,
So yeah, what you can see behind me is is a little bit of my Star Wars collection. Of course, now the NFT community and especially 10KTF has stolen me away from the Star Wars collecting community. I don't put a whole lot of time in there anymore. But yeah, that's what's going on behind me.
very cool. And so you had mentioned that before. How long have you been collecting in Star Wars before 10KTF took over?
A good 20 years. Yeah, that's
Wow.
been yeah. So for me, I guess I'm definitely, as we would say, a boomer in Web3 terms. So I was actually able to see Star Wars as a kid, and I had the toys, and so when I got a little bit older, law school age, I just decided to start collecting something, and that's how I got into Star Wars. I thought, what did I have when I was a kid? What would be cool to collect? And got into it then. Then, of course, when all the movies came back, things really started popping off, and have been doing it, yeah, for a good 20 years now.
Very cool. I know that for me, it was the prequels in the early 2000s. I was a kid that got me into that, into Star Wars, and that was my initiation into that. And then you go back and watch the old stuff. But those always, as maligned and as criticized as they were, when you're a kid watching that, they hold a special place in your heart because it represents childhood more than the plot or the movie itself. So that
Absolutely.
always was huge for me.
Awesome.
Yeah. Diamond, maybe. So, I mean, Brenswa mentioned it. He mentioned that we had that debate. We were already we seemed to do pretty well. How did you guys feel about your performance individually in that debate, in that impromptu debate? Diamond, let's start with you.
Not very fucking good. I showed up today. I tried to bring it proper for y'all today, right? Like for what it's worth. I know we're going to do our debate tomorrow on New Tokyo News. We'll have our formal debate tomorrow, but just want to let everyone know that I may show up as like a slouch 45% of the time, 95% of the time even, right? But I can tighten it up and make it look good when it needs to be, okay? So came on politicking today because I had such a terrible opening debate performance in my head. Like Brenswa asked us like, hey, so what would your motto be? Like, what's your slogan for? And I'm like, oh, fuck around and find out. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Hey,
was
I do
amazing.
have to say I saw some people actually quote your motto in Grailed, so it got some attention.
Yeah.
But no, just the thinking on the fly, not being prepared at all. It all came like a wave, right? But don't think I don't have some notes ready for y'all tomorrow. And I've got debate points to roll with. So really excited to get into all that with y'all. And I do hear that there may be one of our team members working in with cahoots with Boss Toads on the low. I don't know if any of y'all were in the chat this morning, but there were some sus things happening early on in the chat. And there may be a team member on the damn show that could possibly be in cahoots with Boss Toads. Keep your eyes out.
Yeah, the guilty are always the first to speak, Diamond. So I'm looking at you with some side eyes right now. Mebynetta, how did you feel about your performance on the impromptu debate, and how do you feel about the one that's coming up?
Okay, I don't feel so bad about the last debate because I have very low expectations on myself on these things. Like, it's not something that I'm good at doing, so it just happened that I had to do it and I did it. I'm not gonna be too hard on myself on something that I know I'm not good at. But yeah, like my goal is to have fun, because I found out that the only times that I really I really do something, like I'm able to do something also in the right way, in a positive way, it's only when I have fun. When I stop having fun, it doesn't interest me anymore, especially in the NFT space. Even the Damn Show, it was created only to have fun. And I've never feel the pressure, not even in one episode, of the fact that I had to do the Damn Show. It was always a fun experience. So my goal is gonna be prepare some answers, but like fun answers. Let's put it like that. I don't want to be too serious. I'm not gonna be too serious.
No, no,
Let's just put it like that. That's my strategy tomorrow.
yeah, Brenswa, are you looking forward to the debate on Sunday? And like, will you be having any questions for Alf to ask, or have you thought about that at all?
I'm definitely going to be listening, looking forward to it. I think Elf will do an amazing job. I think he'll be great as moderator. I haven't come up with any questions. I guess I got to think about that. I know I threw a couple at you guys, obviously, on the live stream, but I'll come up with something. But I think it's like I said before, it'll be awesome that you guys have a chance to prepare on this one. But at the same time, I mean, I guess I would say for all three of you, I mean, just let your authentic personalities come through, because there's a reason why the three of you were chosen as team captains. Like Meby, I remember my first day in Grailed. You obviously, I don't know, what are you, number 2, I think, of in the Discord. You were, I assumed you were a moderator. Like, you were in there answering questions and helping everybody. And I think you're just so gregarious. That great smile that you've got, it's just likable, and that's why people gravitate to you. And Diamond, I think people love you because you're authentic, and you're also vulnerable. I was on that Spaces last week when you talked about your mom and told a little bit about that story. Obviously, I watched last week's Damn Show and saw you buy your WoW and that whole thing. I think people gravitate towards you because they see themselves in you. You know, everybody struggles with things sometimes, and the fact that you wear your heart on your sleeve, that's why people love you. And so I'd say let both of those show through. And then atareh, you're just a natural born leader. I mean, you're always in the spaces. You're giving great information. I've watched some of your DGen University and actually have learned something on those because I'm fairly new to Web3, and just your leadership shows through. And so, like I mentioned on the live stream last week, during the debate or after the debate, I think you guys are just the perfect choices for the captains. But I'd say don't sweat it. Just let
Yeah.
your personality shine through. Let the chips fall where they may. People are struggling making choices, and it's amazing. I know when I was waiting in I guess we'll call it the green room. That's what they call it in showbiz terms. Waiting for you guys to bring me on, I was listening, and you guys were just talking about how amazing it is that the team has put this together, and I know but besides the fact that you guys were blown away, I know everybody's blown away by this turn of events, and so yeah, it's awesome. But anyway, I know that's a long-winded answer, but looking forward to the debate.
That's awesome, and I think I speak for all of us. Like, thank you for those kind words, Brenswa. I wanted to ask you. You said you're relatively new to the Web3 space, so for two questions in here: what got you into Web3, and then what brought you to 10KTF?
Yeah, great questions. So it's funny. Some of us were just talking about it last night in Grailed. I actually was dating a girl who works in Web3. And so I decided I needed to learn what some of this is all about. And I bought an audio book about NFTs, threw it on, and went for like 5 or 6 hour hike one day. And that was really my first introduction to learning about NFTs. And when I got home, I went on OpenSea and started looking at it and started following some folks on Twitter and learning more about it. The first NFT that I bought was a free mint, just an NFT artist. And then the second one I bought was an Ape Genesis day pack. And yep. So Vitabran, I've told her she did a thread that guy named Rice Farmer retweeted, and I went back to look at it, and that is where I first heard something about 10KT. Went into the Discord, all the great resources that we always point people to, went on and watched that 2-hour video where Crypto Dilly goes through a lot of the lore up to that point, and I was hooked, and that's how I got in. And jumped into Grailed, and the rest is history. Like you mentioned at the beginning, obviously everybody knows my PFP is a moonbird. Love the Moonbirds project, but 10KTF has definitely surpassed it in my love for obviously #1 Web3 NFT project, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
And I'm curious, Brent, what came first? You said it was the day packs. Did you already have your Moonbird at that point, or did the Moonbirds come later on?
The Moonbird actually came later on. It wasn't too much afterwards. I had been kind of doing my research and trying to decide what the kind of we'll say blue chip projects, whatever I was looking at. I wasn't looking at Bored Apes, but looking at mutants. I was looking at Moonbirds and was kind of watching the price flow and learning about them, reading about them. And so it wasn't too long after. But when I did grab my Moonbird, it was before Moonbirds were a parent collection. So I was super excited when Moonbirds got added because I did have my Moonbird, but my Ape Day pack came before I had my Moonbird.
That's very cool. We love to hear like the early Genesis stories of how people got into 10KTF. One of the projects that I was working on last year was like a physical coffee table book on how people got into Bored Ape and their early stories. And I think that project is still unfolding, and we'll see where that goes. But I was in with Kent and Mai, two other OG members in 10KTF. I met up with them IRL, and we were chatting, and we are going through each of our own individual early stories, but then also just other key moments in the community. And I think one thing about 10KTF is that each week, there's something happening on a Thursday, but we all have our own different perspective and memories tied to a different Thursday. And there's so much to talk about that got me thinking. I'm like, we should have like a commemorative physical book where people get to tell a story from their experience with 10KTF so far, and it can be full of community art and lore, and I think it's the more I hear about it, the more guests we speak to, the more live streams we do, the more I think I realize how much more special this whole thing is, because this doesn't just happen. I don't think this, like, out of nowhere, like this happens very rarely, but when it does, you have to like capture that magic and like try to preserve that for as long as you can, or keep the values that led to that. And Diamond, maybe like you guys, both of you have been massively instrumental to capturing those values. Diamond, for you, it's the inquisitive, the researcher mind, the going deep, and maybe for you, it's that caring, giving, that looking out for other people, those energies are so important to a community. And it's like we were all really blessed to just show up when we did and have this unfold like how it did.
And I'm so excited, to be honest, that you mentioned that, because like that's one area where for me, yeah, as a researcher, as someone who wrote the original theory of what 10K true friends means, yeah, no, it fucking matters. And so those historical points, I'm excited to see whether We New is going to make a movie. I know that they're tracking this for sure. I do believe what we will be the next We New moment. They have their moments. They haven't shuttered that portion of their brand. I've said this for a long time, y'all. I do believe like it would be a missed opportunity on their end to not track this, knowing where 10KTF is headed into the future. You get what I'm saying? And so just like they put us within the lore, I think that there's going to be a larger story told here that really does reflect backwards to the origin points of the project and how it all kind of unfolded, the crazy non-linear direction that we've all went, right? With no roadmap, with having to find out about the project. There's so many wonderful stories that each of us have as far as the origin point. And so, and then how it continues to unfold from there. And our excitement, our genuine participation, and all of that, knowing that the team's, we're the heroes of the story. I really think at the end of this, there's going to be something that's just freaking mind blowing for us.
Batshit crazy.
Yeah, yeah, and personally, yeah, that's one of the things that I am working on right now is cataloging that history for us in my researcher skills, utilizing those, looking at the ways that we can try to support ourselves while also supporting the project, with that body of work that I've put in, going in and cataloging that in the right way. And then I'll be reaching out to some community members for sure. And it's not about my story, it's about our story. And I'm really excited to try to tell that in my own perspective.
So maybe let me loop you in here. We spoke about, individual moments and stories. If you had to pick one story, if there's a book and you had to pick one story that you wanted to tell on your page in that book from 10KTF, to put you on the spot a little bit, what would be that one story that comes to mind that you'd be like, this represents my experience totally and completely?
Well, for me, it will be probably an explanation of like a description of the first time that I met any of you in real life. Because
That's cool.
we've been for so many months talking every day. Like I literally wrote in the 10KTF Discord every day since September 19. I never missed a day.
Wow.
So it was so crazy to be talking every day with all these people and then get to meet them many months after. Like Diamond was one of the last ones that I met, but even the people that I met before for the first NFT NYC, or even for the first 10KTF event in Los Angeles, it was already so many months that we were talking since September. It was crazy. It was like 6 months already or more. So yeah, I will definitely try to put into words the feeling that you get in the moment that you actually meet someone that you have been talking for so many months on the internet and you actually have a relationship with. It's not only just talking, but people that you really feel a bond with,
Yeah.
and then meeting them for the first time. That's for me, is it gives me so many emotions. It's definitely the most emotional thing that comes to my mind like between 10KTF and everything, but 10KTF mostly, even more than other communities.
I think I remember like meeting you maybe in the lobby of Hotel Fig with Easy, Tails, and Hawk were there as well. And just with all 4 or 5 of us, it was just so natural. It just felt so,
We will never forget that day. I
yeah,
think it was
yeah,
just like that day was incredible, where we met in that hotel and we got to my room. We were like, at one point we were like eight or 10 people even, so all grailed. It was incredible, and for the first time sharing a room together and talking, I don't know, that was like, wow, very strong emotions, definitely.
yeah. And seeing the personalities from Discord mapped onto the IRL like self, like that was like to experience that and be like, oh yeah, that's definitely like a bomb, or oh, that's easy, that's 100% easy. I feel like those moments are so magical. And somebody shared a photo with me just last night in my DMs from the Brooklyn event. I had made a PFP for him with the "Fight with atareh" slogan with the yellow banner. If any of you guys are, looking for allegiances, I can make a PFP for you guys. Just putting that out there. But he shared a photo with me, and it's him, and then in the back it's me smiling at the camera, and then further back it's Beeple. And like we're all looking at the camera. I don't know if it was like an impromptu thing where a camera just looked up and I, smiled for it, or we were talking. I can't remember. But it's like as 10KTF grows and as the community gets bigger, the moments in person really go a long way, because then that then becomes your model of like the person that you see on Discord. And so, Brenswa, were you at the Brooklyn event?
I was not. I was
Okay.
having it was a big work week for me. I looked at flights, but I think people probably heard the story of what Brannon did, where he kind of flew in, did the party, and then left. I was actually looking at kind of similar flight ideas,
And
and
Van
then
Buren also.
oh, he did the same thing. Yeah, it didn't
Yeah.
happen.
Legend.
I was so disappointed, and obviously, I will never miss another one. And the other thing that's a bummer is the story I was telling before about how I got into 10KTF. And when I started learning about Web3, I live in LA, and so when you guys did NFT LA, I was already poking around, and my girlfriend at the time, she was at the event, not the 10KTF event, but she was at the conference, and so we were talking, and I was like, oh well, maybe I'll go to some of the. I didn't end up going to anything, but I don't remember exactly what the dates were, but I probably bought my 8-day pack like a week or two later, and I'm like, the timing was so bad. Like if I had just bought a few weeks earlier, I could have at least gone. I would have had the 10KTF party to go to, and granted, at that point, I probably wouldn't have known anybody, but who cares? I mean, everybody's so welcoming. And atareh, as you asked that question to Meby, my mind immediately went to she's going to answer IRL, because that's in the end, for those of us that have been able to experience it, because I did the Puma party here in LA, those are the best events, and that is the best part of the experience. I mean, it is amazing the fact that we can make friends over the internet, and the Web3 world is allowing that to happen, and it will more and more. People and meeting people all around the world, but nothing compares to meeting people in real life. I mean, that's in the end, that's the best part, and I loved that. And you mentioned before that I was on The Amazing Race, and I was on the very first season of The Amazing Race, so I've gotten to watch that community grow, and what has made that happen was IRL events. And so when when the first season of The Amazing Race aired, everybody from the show met in New York City, of all places. And we had heard that there were a bunch of fans getting together to watch the show at a place in New York City. And some of us decided after the finale aired to show up at that event and surprise everybody there. And it was an amazing experience getting to hang out with my fellow racers and the other people that were on the show, but also to meet the fans, because we just like, Figgy comes into Discord, we would go in. At the time we weren't allowed to post, but we would go in and we'd read what people were saying about us, so we knew people's handles, we knew people's names, and so getting to meet those people in real life was an experience. And through social media and Facebook over the years, I still remain friends with a lot of those people, and I watch them still talk 20 years later. I see people that are still friends that met at some of those. After that first event was a success for season 1 of Amazing Race, they started doing it every other season. So Amazing Race 2, they had a finale party in New York. Amazing Race 3, they had a finale party in New York. And it was all based on this one. They were forums back then. I've gotten to see that community grow. I'm still a member of like some Facebook, or one Facebook group in particular that's like 20,000 some members. And there are people that have known each other now for 20 years and meet up in real life, go on vacations and things like that. And
Wow.
We're not even a year old yet. And I feel like this group is even tighter, just because obviously we're just in the Discord every day. So watching those online bonds happen and then people meeting in real life, it's a real thing, and lifelong friendships are born from that.
It's so interesting that you say that, because that was, what year was that? Was that 2000,
It
2001?
was 2001.
2001. So that was super early internet. We're in the same phase with like super early web 3, where it's this new paradigm. And one of the things that I've noticed is that you can, be connected through a TV show like watching Game of Thrones. You can be connected through a TV show like The Amazing Race. I've watched a few of those seasons when I was younger, and like I always dreamt about possibly doing one of those. And I think what web 3 has done is that it's up the ante, because now you have Discord, but then you also have financial incentives with the community that are all
Sure.
aligned as well. And that's like the next level of like community, because when me, Mebynetta, Tina, and Neeson, we's apartment, talking about the Brooklyn event summary, and it just felt so natural. And like, one of the things I said on that episode was that if you look at the number of hours that I've spent IRL with the three people in that room, and compare that to like my IRL friends, y- it's they're in the bottom 0.1
Sure.
percentile.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the connection and the energy felt like just as like old friends. And that it's hard for your brain to wrap your head around that, I think. But it's fascinating to, I think, for you to see the same energy and have seen that play out for 20 years now, of what's happened with the Amazing Race, and now coming in on year one with another community that gives you those vibes, maybe even deeper. It just gets me so excited about what the future holds for all of us.
Yeah, you're right. I hadn't even thought about that before. That financial incentive, it does add a lot, because we all know that when we watch the ETH go up or down, we watch floors, whatever things go up and down. I mean, there's some emotions attached to that, because like you guys were saying before, we're all ride or die 10K TF, doesn't matter what's going to happen. But at the same time, there is money involved. So it plays with people's emotions. And that tie does make things even stronger than just a tie of enjoying a television show. So yeah, so we're all stuck with each other for a while.
For the better and the worse, right? So like the emotions for the ups and the downs,
Yep.
right? For all of it. So kudos to our community. Like the it's obviously a tight bond. Like the concept of team is something that I continually think about, right? Like there can't always be a high score, and your high score isn't the same player every game, right?
Right.
Your leading rebounder, your top defensive person. There's so many different roles that need to be played to be able to have a concrete championship team. And we're fucking champions out here in 10KTF, y'all. So keep holding that shit down and doing it like we've been doing it. Keep stacking, keep building. We're headed to fucking wonderful places. Stay prepared for these blessings. They're on the way.
100%. I think very, very well said. I love the sports analogy to that. Maybe you mentioned it on yesterday's space, and I want to loop that in because I thought it was such a wonderful point. Can you speak more about the openness that you felt in 10KTF and how that was different compared to some of the other Discord communities, and why you think that was so beneficial?
Yeah, we get this question a lot. It's like, what's the secret sauce of 10KTF? Like, can you guys explain it to us, like to people that is outside of the community or other projects manager or whatever? Yeah, that's a big thing. The fact that when we got into 10KTF, we were all coming from different communities. So it was like we were all immigrants in a new country, like Atareh said. And what happens in that case? They were also open to each other. We're also like we all want to help each other. And at the same time, there was never from the team, like the team never tried to silence us, or they never tried to tell us, oh guys, here we talk only about this project, oh that's off topic, this and that, this and that. No, we always had all of the conversations we wanted to have on Discord, on Grailed, all of the conversation. If one day we were all DJing into something, we were all DJing into that, and we were talking about that, like to the point that we were bringing the whole community into minting some stupid stuff just because we were all excited. So the team also, they left us talk about all the things that we wanted to talk about and have all the open conversations. And that's also like the freedom of speech that we have in 10KTF. I don't see it everywhere in the NFTs, in other discords as well. Like we can really speak say what we want to say. We can bring up other projects. We can have conversation about other things that are not about 10KTF, and they're okay with it. So I think that was a big point that brought all the people to continue to go back to that Discord, because it was just more welcoming, more fun. I don't know, like it's completely different from other Discords for sure.
And to add on to that, maybe the I know that when I would go to another Discord, I would post a link and there would always be like am I supposed to or can I? That thought is
Hmm.
always there. And sometimes the moderator does come in and say, can't post that here. They'll delete it and then it'll go
Yeah.
somewhere else. And it's not like I'm, coming and shilling something. I'm, either talking about a project or trying to start a conversation about something. And I think while those are small things that a moderator can do, I think those make big waves in the community with how people behave and react. And the early days of OG Grailed, the fact that there's even the thing called FUD Fridays after Thursdays, and the team would be subject to some of the FUD, and they would sometimes respond to the FUD, not directly, but say, "Hey guys, can we understand there's a lot of emotions right now." It's such a it's so novel because when I've seen FUD in other communities, the moderators almost get like emotional as well, and then they start, either banning or doing things like that. Whereas this team they're true professionals. They understand what the Discord is meant to be and what's off limits. And if as long as you're not breaking those major rules, like okay, if you want to FUD, go ahead and FUD. But Figgy will come in and say, "Oh, if you want to FUD, then we're just gonna use that FUD," and that becomes our superpower because nobody's gonna FUD a project harder than the 10 KTF OGs themselves. So we're gonna FUD our own project and FUD it really hard, and that turns into copy pasta. And so it really is this, yeah. It's a magical, I think, space that it's lightning in a bottle, and I'm so excited to, I think, be a part of on this journey with all of you guys.
For me, where I think the sauce really lies, if I'm being honest, is so many selfless community members that show up looking to help others. It's not for anyone's personal bag, right?
Hmm.
It's to uplift others. And so, not that other projects don't have that going on, but those other projects don't have a fucking 40-person team with We Knew and Possible involved that we could go in and establish the business background history to and say, look, no, these people are connected. They did the Super Bowl. They did fucking Ariana Grande. They look at the body of work here. This isn't an artist and one developer. And we have so many people looking in so many different places, always sleuthing, right? The fact that it's total speculation all the time. Anything could be anything and anything could be nothing at all, right? And so what we do in our actual project in the game theory, wide open as far as the multiple levels of the project, it's a wide open game theory. And I think that's a place where discovery and play and personality get to come out. And so for me, like that's where the sauce was like so
Yeah.
many people showing up so selflessly to figure out how they can chip in, how can I contribute. And it just, for me, it's that stacking of the team, the way that the team built early. We had an amazing group of core community members, and we've always looked to accept and bring more in from there, right? And I expect that to continue to grow out into the future. Shout out to everyone working on New Tokyo Rumors right now. Amazing little project that just started up with Squatch and
Yeah,
Brandon and
yeah, yeah.
Maggie.
Amazing. Press.
So like press,
Yeah.
yeah, modest, like what we have going on there are things building with our community where this is just to continue to push forward into places that we do not expect. And right now we can't even conceptualize, but the team will show us the way in time.
So, Brenswa, I had a couple of questions for you. One, I want to give you the opportunity to ask you, what do you, if there's a secret sauce in your perspective, opinion, what is that? And then the second thing is, I hear there's a special story with an epic flamethrower that you have, and so I want to give you the floor to answer both of those questions.
So for the secret sauce, I think Meby and Diamond both hit on a lot of great points. Obviously, the team's incredible. I did get a chance at the Puma LA party to meet a few of them. Shopkeeper's amazing. We all know the shopkeepers because we know and love them in the Discord, but got to meet a couple other behind the scenes people, and just talking to them, you just realize how much they love the project, and it's their job. And the fact that they love the project, they love their job, it shows in what they do from week to week. And just some of the statements I've heard directly from some of the team members, they just make me love the project even more. But another part of it is what you just hit on, Diamond. It's it's attracted amazing community members. I think the fact that, so the reason we always say we don't talk about the floor is the floor doesn't really mean anything, because we all know there's so many different items. Now, socks are at the floor, yeah, but you can't compare them to anything else. So it's not like a regular PFP project where if there's 10,000 pieces and, other than maybe the top 1,000 or 2,000 where rarity might matter, the rest of them, they're all considered, floor pieces. And so it's easy to look at a floor, but it doesn't matter in 10KTF. And so there's not a lot of flippers. And so people are in the project because they love the project and they want to be in the project. They want to learn about the lore. They want to experience it, and they want to experience being in the Grail Discord. And so it has attracted just the right people. And that's what keeps me coming back day in and day out. In one of the spaces the other day, DJent asked me, because we did the PFP space with moonbirds that I actually hosted with press and Lab Labs and Matoshi, and we got some moonbirds to join the project, but I haven't seen a ton. There aren't a lot of moonbirds in the project, and DJent was asking me about that, and he goes, "What's the hubbub about 10KTF in the Moonbirds Discord?" And my answer was, I don't know, because I don't spend a lot of time in there anymore. When I first joined, I was actually in the Proof Discord a lot. But as I came to know and love the project more and know and love the community members in 10KTF, you don't have, well, I actually put in probably way too much time in Web3 in general, but I would rather put my time in the 10KTF Discord just because I love it. So I feel like a big part of the secret sauce is the amount of community members that love the project and are willing to contribute. And it gives you a little bit of FOMO when you see people contributing to the project. You're like, I want to contribute to the project as well. And as that snowball just continues to roll downhill and pick up, it's just going to get better and better. Oh, so, and the epic flamethrower. So I was having the experience that everybody else had. Yeah, it's not the flamethrower of the destiny, of course, Diamond.
But you're still gonna melt that fucking kaiju down with me, fam. Let's go.
Hell yeah. So I actually ended up picking up quite a few crates. So I was going through the experience, as you guys know, and as probably a lot of people heard, because I've mentioned it a few times in different spaces and on the live stream. I was down with COVID during the whole kind of crates experience when we were revealing the crates and when we started crafting. And so I had a low energy level. It actually hit me hard. And so I had a lot of couch time, just kind of sat and watched everybody else opening their crates and all that. I finally got around to it and was hitting comment after comment after comment. And
Brenswa, when you say hitting comment after comment, do you mean you were opening crates and then crafting immediately?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I was actually, as you asked that, I was going to clarify. It's obviously two different steps. So I guess I should say, in opening the crates, because I did have quite a few, I got 6 out of the 7, meaning I did not get a flamethrower. So I got everything else but a flamethrower. Lots of vests. Shout out to Vest Buren. And combat helmets. I did get to enjoy that during my downtime with COVID. So I was watching, and I saw the flamethrower of destiny as well, Diamond. So I got to see all of that live. Pretty cool. Awesome. But yeah, I didn't have a ton of luck, but that's what you got to expect statistically. Then it came time to craft, and so yeah, like I think I started out with 4 or 5 commons. Finally hit an uncommon, a bunch more commons, and just for whatever reason, the order I was doing it in, my flamethrower came up. I think it was the 14th piece that I crafted. So what makes it kind of a fun story is I hadn't done the math real well of the 10% versus the 20%, and meaning crafting with your parent PFPs. So I don't know how many of you guys, there was a space, I think the press was hosting. I think it was the day that we got airdropped, or it was the day that the crates started, which was a Saturday. So when the day that we were able to start minting those, I was in one of the spaces, and while it was going on, I threw a WETH offer on a pair of Genesis rare high tops, that because there was somebody that was liquidating, and I saw that in their wallet, and I threw a WETH offer, and it came through. And 2 Degrees saw that happen. He was just paying attention, and
I remember that now.
Remember this? He DM'd me and said that as soon as I bought that, the owner threw the rest of that set on the floor. And I was like, it's a lot a lot of money, but I went in and I just decided that here's a chance. So I bought the Genesis Day Pack, and I bought, I think it was an uncommon comfy hoodie and an uncommon 5-panel, as well as the actual Oni parent. So I got that full set.
Wow.
So the first thing I crafted of the combat gear, I decided to go with that set because even though it had a rare, overall, I have a couple sets with some epics. So I had some higher value sets, we'll say. And so I decided, let's just do a sock full of doorknobs because I wanted to get that enlisted role in the Discord. So I did a sock full of doorknobs on that Oni. And it's 4789. And then afterwards I realized, Brennan, why didn't you? By the way, I'm doxxed. We all know my name on Twitter. My full name's on there, so no big deal. In fact, I probably would have gone with Brennan as my Discord name, but Brannon is in there. I didn't want to confuse people. He was one of the first people I talked to. We connected actually on Twitter when I first joined and kind of joked about having the same name. He called me his evil twin, and so that's why I've stuck with Brenswa. But anyway, after doing that, I thought, why didn't you craft the Flamethrower on that set that also has a rare Genesis high top? I mean, what an amazing set that would be, even if it was just a common. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to lose a few points. I've already got a hand item for that parent, but you know what? I'm gonna craft the Flamethrower on it. So it was a little bit of a choice to do it. And man, I wish I had either done it on a live stream, or I've seen other people that had their camera, because we've all seen the YouTube videos of people like watching a movie trailer for the first time, like for Star Wars when they do a new one or something. Or I remember watching the finale of season 1 of The Mandalorian. The reaction, people crying, grown men, because sorry, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, there's Luke Skywalker in there.
Yep.
But anyway, I wish I had done it, because when I crafted and that epic Flamethrower hit, I threw my hands up, I yelled, I got up, and I literally ran around the room, no joke, like screaming like I was a 10-year-old kid on Christmas. It was, I mean, you had to look. It really was greatness. I mean, I had to look closely. I'm like, wait a minute, those look like katanas, because katanas, we all know, are the symbols in the Onis. I looked down and I saw a bunch, and I was like, oh my God, it's an epic. And I just went absolutely bonkers. And it was just going back to what we talked about. I wanted to share that with everybody else, and I wasn't able to. And so there was that little bit of a letdown there, but that was it. And so I think the reason I had mentioned to you about bringing the story up is two things. Is one, I had already crafted a hand item, but I decided, you know what? It's such a badass parent, I'm going to do it anyway. And two, it's just the fact that it is a full set that has both a rare Genesis high top and an epic Flamethrower. I mean, I'm just blessed and lucky that I ended up getting that set. So I've already said thank you to 2 Degrees a bunch of times. So shout out again, buddy. I appreciate it. And that's the story of the epic Flamethrower.
2 Degrees is the.
Go ahead.
No, Devin, go.
2 Degrees is always on the fucking markets. Never leave them.
2 Degrees is amazing. Yeah. I love 2 Degrees.
Literally, I get a DM from him, and I'm like, what? He said, I saw you bought that. By the way, now the owner put the rest of them, put them on the floor as soon as I broke up that set. And the fact that he noticed it, it was amazing. If it hadn't been for him, I wouldn't. All I would have is just that is the rare Genesis high tops.
And I remember, Brenswa, that was a space that I was on. I don't know if I was hosting, but I was on as a speaker. 2 Degrees, was a speaker as well. And you went silent for quite a while, and we were talking, and then you came back in, and 2 Degrees, both of your mics, I think, unmuted at the same time, and then we got to hear the story, and that was the same space where I'm like, aren't moonbirds, so like, I'm Brenswa.
Yeah.
And so like, I took your PFP, I put it out as a PFP as a joke. I wanted to talk about that because you are an IP lawyer, and it has been a few weeks, and I'm writing a piece about that. So I feel like you have an interesting perspective to share when it comes to moonbirds and CCO. It's something that we spoke on the podcast a few weeks ago as well. Before we get there, though, I do want to say one thing. I think, Diamond, you said it earlier, that We New Moments is still part of the team's lore, or part of the team's business.
Yeah.
When you actually think about it, I've said this for quite a while, and I've felt this team fundamentally understands the power of moments. And each of those moments of opening a crate and getting an epic, that is such a special moment. You can't quantify that into a floor price or a thing, but it's such a magical emotional moment. It's being a kid and opening up Pokemon cards and getting a Charizard. That resonates with me. It's all those little things. And so you can see it woven in through all the things that they do. And then the fact that, we have a live stream and we got to open them up on live stream, and we had some of the team watching that, because for them this is uh this would be their equivalent of like Pokemon, people that work in Pokemon being able to watch kids open up packs and go crazy for like a Charizard and see like, whoa, like we created that moment, and that kid's gonna remember that for the rest of their life. I know I did when I got a Typhlosion, which is a Series 3 gold holographic. It was incredible. I had chicken pox, and I was just covered in like all like the the stuff that makes you itch it, and I opened it up and I was like, "Oh, unreal. This is
You
crazy."
forgot about the chicken pox quickly.
Forgot about it completely. Exactly. So
You,
I wanted to
you know
add-
what? Let me interrupt real quickly, just because that reminds me. Elf actually asked me in the Discord after I got the epic flamethrower. He was joking, but he said to me, he goes, "What was a bigger moment, getting that epic flamethrower, or winning first season of The Amazing Race?" I thought about it for a minute, and I said, in the moment, because race, it's a 30-day event, and you come down to the end, there's only a couple teams, and running to the finish line, there were only 2 teams left. It was either us or them. And so you kind of, obviously it's a life-changing event, but in that moment, the specific moment, I was probably more excited to get the epic flamethrower. So if that says anything to the We New team about how awesome that is, that was my answer to Elf, and he responded. He's like, "I love that answer." So sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to throw that in there.
That's incredible. I wanted to get back to that CCO question though, and maybe we can close on this. I know that Diamond and maybe we all have like our campaigns and things going on, and so I want to be able to get back to that.
I'm so busy right now, seriously.
Yeah. There's Diamond, you forgot that you forgot he was on Zoom.
Sorry, y'all. I had to grab something from the other room real quick. Real busy around here, though. I promise.
Diamond,
All right, somebody screen grab that. I want to see it engrailed.
Oh my god! But I wanted to get your take on Moonbirds and CCO. You're an IP lawyer, and you are involved in the Moonbirds community. You have a Moonbird, and it's been now about a month or so where that decision was announced. And I have my own opinion about it, and everybody on this project had their opinion. I want to give you the floor and see how a community member felt.
And it's interesting because I really have 2 different takes. Well, I don't know if they're different, but one as a community member, as a holder, because that has nothing to do with me being an IP lawyer, but then also as an IP lawyer. And my first take, because I don't own a rare moonbird. So my first take was, okay, not a huge deal. And I think the reason for that is because I wasn't out there trying to get any licensing deals, or I like I keep saying, I'm so involved in 10KTF that I wasn't trying to do anything with my moonbird. And so I didn't feel my immediate response was it didn't take anything away from me. Now, we all heard the stories of, especially there's one real rare moonbird who had a deal. Actually, the deal did end up closing, but I'm sure it changed and wasn't what it was originally. He also owned a Bored Ape, so that was tied in with the deal. But that was my initial reaction. But we all know Lab Labs, another moonbird holder, he hit me up and asked me about it, and he was kind of concerned. And then I started thinking about it, and I think the thing that really surprised me was the communication wasn't great. The team has admitted that, and the fact that they changed things midstream, and you bought one thing and now you own something different. So regardless of whether you're out there and trying to make any money off of your moonbird, it's still something different. Maybe I would have in the future, maybe others would have in the future. I understood their decision. The proof team really is all about inclusivity, and a rising tide raises all ships. That was one of the quotes they said, and they really are about that. They're about community and inclusivity, and I think for them that was part of this decision. But like we talked about before, there's money involved. And so I think that's why some people had a very visceral reaction to it and a negative reaction. So from an IP attorney standpoint, my job is to help protect my client's rights. And so, well, obviously in this case, I guess my client, if I was advising moonbirds or proof, would be proof. But in advising or thinking about me as a holder and individual holders, we had rights taken away. And so from that perspective, from an IP attorney standpoint, my first thought was, well, there's less rights in the bundle of rights that you got as a purchaser of a moonbird than there was when you originally purchased it. And so from that perspective, I think it's a big deal. And the other thing, and I think I mentioned this on the space, that I was surprised about. So CCO or CC0 is really mainly about, so within IP, there's really three main areas. You've got patents, trademarks, and copyrights. In the Web3 world, patents don't come into play a whole lot. Copyright is huge because when it comes to art, that's copyright related, but trademarks are also a big deal. So we all remember the AI moonbirds incident that happened, or if people don't, that was a big project that came out, did very well. And Kevin Rose and the Proof team, they actually went after or sent a cease and desist letter, or did whatever they did to get the name changed to AI Nightbirds. They didn't mind the copyright side of things. They just didn't want confusion, because trademark law is all about whether people are confused into thinking that one project is related to another. They didn't want people being confused and think that they were the ones putting it out. Well, part of the CCO decision was they're now not going after people that are going to use their trademark. And that is not, I don't think, from what I've seen, like I said, I'm fairly new to Web3. So as an IP attorney, I haven't done a lot of work in Web3 yet, but I don't think that that's a normal decision in letting people use your trademark. And that part of it, especially as a trademark attorney, I do more trademark work than I do copyright. That I was surprised about, because what's going to happen? There's going to be other projects out there with the Moonbird name attached to them. People are not going to know if it's proof or if it's not. And if there's something negative about that, that's going to reflect on the proof team. And that's the whole purpose of stopping people from using your trademark, so that there's not that confusion. So those are some of my thoughts. And let me know if you have any questions or want me to expound on anything.
I had one quick clarification. Could you clarify the difference between trademark and copyright for the listeners?
Yeah. So trademark signifies the source of goods or services. So a trademark is going to be like the name of a company, the name of a product. So like 10KTF, when you hear that, you identify that with We Knew Labs and with this project. And so when you hear that, you know that they're the company behind it. And so if somebody else starts using 10KTF and somebody who knows about the project sees that, they're going to think, oh, that must be We Knew Labs that's putting that out, or that's sponsored by We Knew Labs. And so from a trademark perspective, you want to stop somebody from using 10KTF so that you're not confused into thinking that it is coming from the source or the company of We Knew Labs. For copyright protects, so like art or music, any as soon as you put that into a tangible medium, tangible form, as soon as you create that art, you have copyright rights or copyrights in that item. And so somebody else can't go and reproduce that. Or we hear about, like with like what Moonbirds used to be, or like what Bored Apes are, we hear about derivatives, and that's what allows 10KTF to exist. The fact that they can have a derivative work of that art that has been created and that has copyright behind it. And so those projects, they give the copyright to the holder of the NFT, so they can go and exploit that. Moonbirds now, we could exploit any moonbird. I'm just hoping my moonbird at some point will, well, I don't know if I want to be one of the bad guys, but hey, I'll take it in the 10KTF story. But that's really the difference. It's all about trademarks signify whatever the source of origin is, and copyrights really protect artistic things, right. We'll say, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Very, very cool. That means maybe, I don't know, I want to give you guys the floor as well. If you had any questions or comments on that, or for Brenswa individually, I always want to leave space for that.
Like regarding this thing specifically, like I said last time, for me, my main problem would have been the fact that the NFT changed. Like what I bought is not what I bought. It's another thing now. I don't know, because I tried to think about WoW and my WoWs, and I was like, okay, imagine that right now you have these WoWs you thought they were yours, you were doing your things with them, and then tomorrow they say, well, everyone can actually use your WoW in whatever they want, and that will probably be a bit, I don't think, I don't want to say upsetting, but for sure I would have to thought about it, to think about it a lot, like to really, okay, so what happened here? This is weird. I don't know anymore what I own, right? So I think that's the feeling that many people had about this. But yeah.
Yeah.
And personally, I don't know what the legality would be about me reproducing the 10K TF, the version that they assigned for me, right? Like my DiamondHandz in the lore, getting
Mhm.
that like created to be a person for me. Like say
Mhm.
I want to be Ben Mayer White, and every time I jump on this, you get the digital version of me, right? With that current area. I mean, not that the team like, so this is all just fun stuff, right? And me
Mhm.
thinking this through out loud. Not that the team gives a flying fuck. Let me be clear about that. But like with that little area, Bren, like would I be, I mean, I'm obviously like, that's not legally appropriate for me to do without permission appropriately from the team on the inside, right?
That's right. So the way that would work is, so the artist actually owns the copyright. Now there is, and we don't want to get too deep in this because it's boring. But when somebody is working for, say, a company, you guys may have heard the phrase "work for hire." So in the copyright world, if somebody's working for an employer and they create that, the employer actually owns it. Outside of that, the artist actually owns it. So in this case, that your artwork, even though it is of each of the three of you, it's owned by We New Labs. So you're right, Diamond. I mean, obviously, putting it on Twitter and all that kind of stuff, no big deal. But if all of a sudden you decided, you know what, I'm gonna mint a collection of NFTs and I'm gonna start selling these bad boys, you would need permission from the team to be able to do that.
I actually I spoke with somebody because I had a similar question about that, and they said that they're not, whether with the law, whatever it says, that's probably technically accurate, but from the team's perspective, they're like, no, we're not, like, it's you guys, like, do whatever you guys want with that.
For sure.
That's
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
you, for
Yeah.
you.
Oh yeah. As long as they
Yeah,
give the
yeah,
permission, no worries. But yeah,
yeah.
just telling you what the law is.
No, yeah, that's exactly it. The technicalities versus like the personal relationship, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, so last question for you, Brent. It's been a couple days since the announcement. Anybody? Are you leaning towards anybody? Is it even split? What are you feeling?
So, it's funny because I certainly thought about it, and I will say I'm lucky enough to have enough points. We'll be throwing some each of your ways.
Ooh,
However,
okay.
and it's a question that I asked you guys on a live stream the other day. In the end, it really is about the music, and that was what it actually says in Battletown is choose your favorite song. And music, I mean, music is a big part of everybody's lives, and we all know certain songs. I mean, 20 years from now, when I hear Pump It Up, I'm going to remember, whether 10KTF is still around or not, I'm going to remember where I was, and I have so many great memories in my life that are tied to songs, different vacations I went on or different experiences. And so that song choice for me is going to be very important. So I'm not really leaning towards any direction, but we'll see how the song choices sway me.
Did you vote in my poll?
I didn't see the poll. No.
I have a poll.
Yeah,
I got like more than 100 answers already. So if you can
That's
help
awesome.
me choose the song.
Maybe without revealing the answer, I know there's 5 songs on there. Was it pretty evenly? Was there one that's a clear winner so far? I'm curious.
There is 3 that are like at the top.
Wow.
So I still need some, like, I don't feel safe saying this is gonna win. I don't know yet. Like,
Well,
pretty close to each other. So we see.
perfect. Post that, and we'll get some retweets on that and get that going. You're gonna reveal that on New Tokyo News. DiamondHandz, your song is gonna be revealed on Monday.
Right.
My song is gonna be revealed later tonight. So we'll each have our own day. And excited about the New Tokyo, the Great New Tokyo debate tomorrow. The crate debate. There's so many names I can't keep up.
Debate.
The crate debate. I love that crate has become such a pervasive thing throughout all of this.
So true. There's so many people are clever. Some of the things they come up with, where they
it's so much fun
in there. Yeah.
The cleverness of this whole community, and I'm having a time of my life. It's a lot of work right now because we're on the camping trail. It's exhausting, but I'm so happy to be in it right now, and I'm enjoying the tiredness. And yeah, I'm sure you guys feel the same way as well, Diamond and maybe.
I, I'm not gonna lie. Like y'all are a little bit more beat down than I am. I haven't been campaigning quite as hard as I should be, I guess. But
You
I
have
got
the no, Diamond. You
got
have
some
the
things.
natural. You have the natural allure. Carl was just like DiamondHandz is my guy.
Yeah.
I've seen so many people that are like DiamondHandz is my. I've pledged my allegiance, and I'm like, damn, you got some sauce, Diamond. Good
I
for you.
didn't get any endorsement like that.
But really quick, I just want to say, y'all, be sure that you if you have enough to spread out amongst the three of us, right? Even though it hurts me, I know, right? Make sure you put a little bit in every one of ours little juice. And then if you want to make a power play and dump on someone, go ahead and dump on whoever you want to. I don't mind if you dump on me, okay? This one time, all right? But that being said, make sure that you cover all your bases just in case there are badges that go out
Mhm.
for each one of us or something like that. I want everybody to be able to tap into all the goodies. And then when it gets to the dogs race or what have you, we'll see what that looks like. Another thing I've been thinking about is if the team leaves points visible, like I know that we have so many caring members in our community that some people are going to trade teams and switch out to try to make sure
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I know how that's going to work. And shout out to all y'all that are going to try to keep it as even for all three of us as you can, because I know you're out there for sure.
Yeah.
I heard multiple people say that for them it's really going to come down to the song choice, and also people want to see how the vote kind of shakes out, and they're gonna vote based off of that in terms of like I don't think anybody wants to get anybody left behind, and so yeah, this is gonna be fun. I'm excited. What a crazy week. We'll get a chance a week from now to decompress, see what happens on Thursday's live stream, and then that following damn show. I'm sure we'll be more well rested, and we can kind of like just talk about our experience and the aftermath of that. So, Brenswa, I thank you for coming on. We scheduled this a few weeks ago, and it just so happened that it worked out. This was the week, and you had come on with the live stream. So, thank you for coming on and sharing your insights. And we're excited to have you in the community. And to Diamond and Meby, may the best captain win, I guess.
We're
Yeah.
all
So, yeah.
winning out here. We're all winning.
We're all
Thanks.
winning.
We
Thanks.
already won.
Thanks so much for having me on. All right, so I've got some good news and some bad news related to giveaways, and
Okay.
I'll start with the bad news. You guys are going to be stuck with me on at least one more time on Thursday's live stream because I spoke with the team and we're going to have a giveaway for the live stream. So everybody who watches this week, you got to tune in Thursday to the Damn Show live stream. The team has graciously given a crate to be given away. And yeah, we discussed it, and Thursday's the day. So yeah, we'll have a crate to give away on the Damn Show Thursday live stream.
That's exciting.
Awesome. Thank
What-
you. Yay.
So the bad news was we're stuck with you. The good news is the crate. Did I get that right?
That's right. That's right. So if people are tired of my mug, they got to see it one more time on Thursday.
Terrible news, man. The worst bad news I've ever heard.
Unreal. I can't believe it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We got a lot of campaigning to do. We got a lot of fun things ahead, a lot of fun videos and song choices. Again, the most important thing. So you're going to be hearing from each of the team captains. Once again, thank you, Brent, for coming on and sharing your story and how you got involved with 10KTF. We will see you guys next time on The Damn Show. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.